Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is May 30th, the end of the second month, and is there still time to turn your season around? If you're at the bottom, let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? It is Friday, the end of a week and the end of the month, May 30th. We've just got today and tomorrow left. But next episode, we will be in the month of June. We're getting closer and closer to the All-Star break. The dog days of summer will be fast approaching, and the next thing you know, it's the pennant race and playoffs. The season has really taken off into a full swing. We've seen players who have broken out. We've seen players who have started to make a name for themselves. We've seen teams who have flourished and teams who have struggled. And we'll be talking about some of that stuff and a little bit more later on. But first, let's dive into our series recap. Leading things off, we've got the Cardinals and the Oilers, a bird battle here. Dylan Carlson goes deep for Baltimore in the first game to a 5-2 victory, but the Redbirds strike back. It's Nootbaar and Arenado who go deep in game 2 for a 7-4 victory, and then Brendan Donovan hits a 2-run go-ahead home run. That was the difference in the road match, a 6-4 final. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 from Baltimore. Twins and Rays down in Steinbrenner, and the Rays were hitting some bombs. Jonathan Aranda, Danny Jansen, both homering in a part of a 7-2 Rays win. Then it's Cody Clemens, who's been a big part in the Twins uprising here. They lead to a 4-2 victory for Minnesota. And then Brandon Lau and Junior Caminero go deep in that third game. The Rays take the road match 5-0 the final and take 2 of 3 from Minnesota. The Dodgers are visiting Cleveland and taking on the Guardians. Shohei Ohtani starts the series off with a leadoff bomb. Will Smith homers in the game as well. It's a 7-2 Dodgers win. Then in that second game, it's Shohei going deep again, as well as Max Muncy and Michael Conforto. 3 Dodger home runs to a 9-5 victory. But if you're thinking sweep, think again. The Guardians come back. They score 5 runs in the 8th, including a go-ahead 3-run home run from Angel Martinez. 7-4 Guardians. A big inning helps them avoid the sweep against the Dodgers. Giants and Tigers. It's a Detroit world, and we're just living in it. Winsel Perez hits his first home run of the year in this series. It's 2 3-1 finals, 3-1 in game 1, 3-1 in game 2, and then in that third game, the Giants up 3. The Tigers score 4 in the 5th to take the lead, and they don't look back. 4-3 the final. The Tigers sweep the Giants. Reds and Royals, 2 teams that I like a lot. Tyler Stevenson hits 2 homers in the series. Ellie De La Cruz hit 2 homers in a single game. In that second game, 7-4 Reds take the first game and 7-2 in the second game. Cincinnati all over the series, but Bobby Witt helps out in game 3 with 2 RBIs for a 3-2 Royals victory to avoid the sweep. The Yankees are in town against LA to take on the Angels. Anthony Volpe gets a 3-run bases-clearing go-ahead double to help the Yankees take the opener 5-1. In Game 2, it's Ben Rice, it's Oswaldo Peraza, both of them going deep to a 3-2 Yankees lead. And then Anthony Volpe hits a sac fly in the first inning, and then it was zeros from there. 1-0 Yankees, the final there, as New York sweeps the Angels. Blue Jays in Texas to take on the Rangers. Varsho leads this game off in the first inning with a home run. 2-1 Blue Jays, the final there. Texas comes back with a 2-0 victory to even up the series, and then 0-0 entering the 9th. Enter Bo Bichette, pinch hit, 2-run home run in the 9th inning. Blue Jays win 2-0. That's all you need to do there, and they take 2 of 3 from Texas. A's and Astros now, a little 2-game series here. The Astros come home run ready. Jeremy Pena, Altuve goes deep twice in the game, and Christian Walker. 4 Astro home runs lead to an 11-1 victory. And then in the other game, Jacob Wilson, he went deep for the lead for the A's. Then Zach DeZenzo homers to tie it back up for the Astros. Victor Caratini, a 2-run double in the 8th. The Astros win it 5-3 and take the 2-game mini sweep over the A's. Nationals and Mariners. Julio and Cal Raleigh go back-to-back in the first to get 3 quick runs for the Mariners. Cal Raleigh, he hit another home run in this game, a 2-homer game for the Big Dumper, 9-1 Mariners. In Game 2, it's the Nats that come back. Luis Garcia Jr., Josh Bell. How about James Wood getting his second home run of the series, and Robert Hassel III getting his first career MLB home run as the Nats hit 4 bombs to a 9-0 victory. In the third and final game, the road match, this one went into the 10th, tied at 2. The Nats score 7 in the 10th, drop the hammer on the Mariners. Josh Bell, a 3-run home run, helps the Nats. 9-3 the final there. If you scored 9 runs, you won a game in this series. 9-1, 9-0, 9-3. The Nationals take 2 of 3 from Seattle. The White Sox and the Mets now. The Mets win the first game on a walk-off sac fly from Lindor. They take a 2-1 victory there. In Game 2, Pete Alonso, Jared Young, they both go deep for the Mets. Miguel Vargas homers for the White Sox and had 3 RBIs. Boy, do I feel bad for him. It's a 6-4 Mets win, but the White Sox come back in the third game thanks to Andrew Benintendi, who had a single, a home run, and a triple in this game, a double away from the cycle. He had 4 RBIs as the White Sox win it 9-4 to avoid the sweep from the Mets. Braves and Phillies now. The first game was a 2-0 Phillies win, but the attention was on Harper as he was hit by a pitch by Strider in the elbow and had to leave a game. Not ideal for the Phillies there. The second game got rained out and was made up as a double-header on Thursday, to which the Phillies opened up that day with a win. Rafael Marchand and Kyle Schwarber both going deep for the Phillies to a 5-4 victory, but the Braves come back in the final game. Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley doing the home run hitting for Atlanta. 9-3 the final there. Phillies take 2 of 3 from the Braves, but attention goes to Harper. Red Sox and Brewers. Jackson Chourio goes deep, his 8th home run of the season. Brewers take a 3-2 win in their opener, and then it's a walk-off world here because in the second game we head into the 10th inning. Christian Yelich with the bases loaded says, "Thank you very much. I will take a first career walk-off home run in grand fashion." Grand slam for Yelich. It's a 5-1 Brewers win there. And they loved walking it off in the 10th so much that they decided to do it again in the final. Rafaela and Abreu, they went deep for the Red Sox. Jake Bauers homers for the Brew Crew, and then it ends up in the 10th inning where Caleb Durbin gets the walk-off with a sac fly. 6-5 Brewers the final as Milwaukee sweeps the Red Sox. Downward spiral for the Boston. Rockies and Cubs now. It's the Cubs. 3-1. 4-3 and 2-1. That 4-3 victory in the middle of this series, that's the rookie Matt Shaw getting the walk-off in extras in the 11th inning. An RBI single for him. In that final game, Pete Crow Armstrong hits his 15th home run of the season. That's the difference in this one as the Cubs sweep the Rockies, and of course, that's what you should be doing in this season. Pirates and D-backs. Arizona all over things in Game 1. Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor both go deep. 5-0 Arizona. They looked good in Game 2 as Corbin Carroll had a leadoff home run and Arizona was up 6-0, but the Pirates dropped the hammer. They scored 9 unanswered, including 7 runs in the 8th. They had a 2-run home run from Henry Davis, and then tied up at 6, Brian Reynolds calls game, a 3-run home run to put the Pirates up in the 8th inning to conclude that 7-run frame. 9-6 the final. The Pirates, a crazy comeback, and that had so much motivation that they came back with 5 runs in the 6th inning in that final game. O'Neal Cruz hits a home run. It's a 10-1 Pirates win as Pittsburgh takes 2 of 3 from the D-backs. And that leaves us with Marlins and Padres. The first game goes into the 11th thanks to Manny Machado getting a game-tying home run in the 8th. The Pirates would win it on a wild pitch in extras. One of the ways to win a ball game. 4-3 Padres the final there. In Game 2, the Marlins were up 6-0 in the first. They scored 6 runs, and that was all they would do because the Padres came back in this one. They scored 8 unanswered. Tatis hit a leadoff home run to start it off, and Jackson Merrill hit a home run to end it with that 8th run in this one. 8-6 Padres, and another crazy 6-run comeback And in the final game, it's the Marlins that have a crazy comeback from down 5. Augustine Ramirez, Jesus Sanchez, and Otto Lopez all going deep for the Marlins. 10-8 victory, the final there to avoid the sweep. Padres take 2 of 3 from Miami, and that's your series recap. All right, now let's get to the game of the week. There was 2 6-run comebacks on the same day on Tuesday. The Padres and the Pirates beating the Marlins and D-backs. And while both of those are great options, I want to get to that third game of that Miami and San Diego series on Wednesday because that one was just as good and just as close. Here we go, game 3, Bottom of the second, Gavin Sheets, an RBI single starts the party, 1-0 Padres. The Marlins come back. Augustine Ramirez hits his 7th home run of the season to tie it up 1-1. Then the bottom of the fourth enters a 5-run Padres inning. Jake Cronenworth gets a 2 RBI double. Elias Diaz, an RBI single for him. Arias, a sac fly, scores a run, and Manny Machado, an RBI single, helps them out. 6-1 Padres. Top of the fifth, it's Miami's turn to score 5 runs. Jesus Sanchez hits his 4th home run of the season, a solo shot to bring it back within 4. Augustine Ramirez, an RBI single, back within 3. And then Otto Lopez hitting his 4th home run of the season. A 3-run shot turns the 6-3 deficit into a 6-6 tie. Miami's back in this one. Top 7th, it's a wild pitch from Jason Adam. Miami has their first lead of the ball game, and that lasts not even an inning. As in the bottom of the 7th, Gavin Sheets, what a season he's had, hits his 11th home run on the season, and that puts the Padres up 1, 8-7 Padres. Top of the 8th, Augustine Ramirez, what a day he had, getting his 4th hit in this one. Another RBI single, 2 RBI single. Miami takes the lead, and then Eric Wagaman, he gets an RBI double to score the 3rd and final run of that inning. The Miami Marlins take a 10-8 victory. Augustine Ramirez, the DH, leading things off. He was 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs, had a great game, as well as that entire top of the order. I mean, you went Ramirez 4 for 5, Wagaman 3 for 5, Otto Lopez 3 for 5, a combined 8 of the 10 RBIs scored. A great game for the Marlins, a great comeback. 10-8 the final for your game of the week. So now let's get into some of the baseball news from the week. And we've got some teams taking some chances on some players who have kind of been disregarded by their teams at the beginning of the season. First and foremost, the Angels signed Chris Taylor from the Dodgers, essentially. So he stays in LA, Taylor does, but now is on the different LA team. The Rockies signed Orlando Arcia, who was DFA'd by the Braves, and the Rays signed Kyle Gibson, who was DFA'd by Baltimore. So 3 players there changing some hands here. Chris Taylor's season has gotten off to a horrendous start with the Dodgers. He had 7 hits in 35 at-bats, played in 28 games. Of those 7 hits, he had 2 doubles and 2 RBIs, 13 strikeouts. He had a 457 OPS, and it just really hasn't gotten his way. You know, you think back to All-Star Chris Taylor back in 2021. You think of him just like, being a face of the franchise there for the Dodgers in those early years there when he became a Dodger back in 2016. Spent 10 years there. So for him to now be in a different LA team, it's a little different. So far, he's 1 for 9, so hasn't gone off to the best start with his new team, but did make a nice diving catch in left field in one of the games. So, for the Angels and honestly for the rest of the teams, what do you have to lose? The Angels are nowhere near the top. You get a guy with Chris Taylor, who has as much playoff experience as pretty much anyone else in the league right now. Like, he's been to the dance with the Dodgers. He's won the World Series. He's lost the World Series. He's been on great teams. He's been on less than great teams. He has an NLCS MVP, so he is a value and potential asset for the Angels. And worst case scenario, he's just a guy who's here for the season, or if you cut him at some point, there's no harm in taking a chance on this. You're not a team that's competing right now. Same thing with Orlando Arcia, who, was on the 2021 World Series team with the Braves. Obviously, that year, They traded for him as kind of a backup thing. And, Dansby leaves, he goes to Chicago, and he becomes this everyday shortstop. And even going back to 2022, I did not like it. Not that I don't like Orlando Arcia, but to be a potential World Series contending team, to have Arcia in your starting 9 just never fit right, because when you look at his numbers, I mean, he has a career 668 OPS. He has, 87 home runs in his career, which, I mean, is a decent amount, but you have to remember, he debuted at 21 with the Brewers. They called him up, made him a big deal. He's a top prospect. Next year hits 15 home runs. The last 2 years, he's had good moments with Atlanta. He had 17 home runs both in 2023 and 2024. Heck, he was an all-star in 2023. So there is, some reason to take a gambit here. For the Rockies, I mean, you haven't even won your 10th win yet. So, I mean, is he really the problem? Or, is it really that bad to take a guy like Arcia, who's definitely struggled this year with Atlanta so far? In 14 games, he was 6 for 31, without a home run, only 1 double, a 194 batting average, 445 OPS, only 1 RBI. So definitely just some struggling, within the first 2 months here for Arcia. So Rockies, whether you start him or you don't, I don't really know. He's made an impact, kind of. He's played 1 game with Colorado so far. He's 2 for 3. So, I mean, that's a 667 batting average, a 1.333 OPS. If that continues, I mean, who knows what you're saying with the Rockies. I mean, the best case scenario is he kind of continues to, he kind of reverts back to popping off in Colorado. I mean, Coors Field, he starts hitting home runs this season. And the next thing you know, I mean, potential trade piece somewhere. You can get a prospect or 2 back for him. So that's kind of what you're hoping for if you're Colorado. And then the Rays are taking a chance on Kyle Gibson, who, I mean, was always just kind of like a middle-of-the-rotation guy. Nothing crazy. He was consistent. He was always there making every start, but never the best. You look at his ERAs throughout the years. You go back to his early days with Minnesota. In 7 years, he had a career 4.52 ERA there. In Philly, he had a career 5.06 ERA. His one good year in 2021, he was an all-star that year. With Texas, he had a 2.87 in 19 starts. He was fantastic. They traded him to Philly, and then he had a 5.09 ERA the rest of the way. Finished with a 3.71, and that was still his second best ERA in his career. The only other year was 2018 with a 3.62. But he's just an average guy. You look at his 13-year career, he's got 14.2 WAR. He has 112 wins and 111 losses. He has 1 more win than loss, a 4.6 ERA, but he's made 334 starts. You look at his game starts, I mean, 32, 25, 32, 29, 30, 31, 33, 30. Like, he is a guy who is consistent. He stays healthy. So far with Baltimore, we know Baltimore's pitching struggles and how it's been. He's been part of the problem. In 4 starts, he has 12 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 23 earned runs, 7 home runs, 7 walks, only 10 strikeouts. He has a 16.78 ERA. Was he the worst pitcher on the team? By all means, probably not. Charlie Morton just got his first win of the season this week. He was 0-7, so, I mean, there's definitely other pitchers there, but definitely the guy that they cut loose here. And if there is going to be a team to fix a pitcher like this, it is the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are kind of the team here between the Angels, who signed Taylor, the Rockies, who signed Arcia, and the Rays, who signed Gibson. The Rays are the team that's kind of in that, potential competing phase. They're 29-27, 2 games up on 500. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Kyle Gibson can fill a hole there while some of their pitchers are still coming back from injury, and the Rays have a knack for turning pitchers into gods. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gibson's able to find his way around and maybe have some of his best starts in his career coming up here. I'm excited to see how he's going to do with the Rays here. But Interesting to see some teams taking some chances on these players, and maybe some other teams will take some chances on these guys, one of them in particularly, as we had a trade go down between the Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Reds traded Alexis Diaz to the Dodgers in exchange for a prospect right-handed pitcher, Mike Villani. Alexis Diaz, you may know him. You probably do if you're an NL Central fan. In 2022, he made his debut, and it was great. He finished top 5 in Rookie of the Year voting that year. Made 59 appearances, a 1.84 ERA, 7-3 record. He was fantastic. He got 10 saves and became the everyday closer in 2023, which is his all-star year. He made 71 appearances, 37 saves to a 3.07 ERA and 9.6 record. Then last year, his season started off great, and then it got a little bit worse towards the middle of the season. Kind of picked it up a little bit towards the end, but wasn't all of that. Still, though, 60 games, 56 innings, and a 3.99 ERA. You're still hoping for the right things here. In 2025 so far, Alexis Diaz made 6 games. He played 6 games, 6 innings, didn't get a save, and gave up 8 runs. He's got a 12 ERA. He was out of the closer role. He was out of the bullpen. They sent him down to AAA, and I guess what they've been seeing in AAA hasn't been cutting it. It just doesn't look right. And of course, the Dodgers could always use another, all-star player, so why not chip him over there to LA? So they make the deal there. He will be, I'm not sure if he will be in the majors or if he's going to head to the AAA camp first to see what he's got, but the top 5 Rookie of the Year all-star player just 2-3 years ago finds himself on one of the best teams in baseball in the Dodgers, because why couldn't they? Speaking of LA, the other thing here, besides the trade, was a DFA, and this is kind of where I'm like, oh, who's going to take a chance on this guy? Is he worth taking a chance on anymore? The Angels DFA'd Tim Anderson. The 2-time All-Star, the batting title winner, Silver Slugger, just has never been able to find his form since, the 2022 White Sox. 2023 was an awful year for him. You're thinking, how bad can it be? They obviously cut him there. He goes to Miami, has an even worse year. So far with the Angels, he was 17 for 90. He had 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 walks. He had stolen a base. He's got a 205 batting average, a 499 OPS, and he still hasn't hit a home run besides his 1 home run that he hit back in 2023. So if you look at 2023 till now, in the 3-year span here, he's played 219 games and has 1 home run in that span, a 232 batting average, a 540 OPS, and a negative 3.3 WAR, and that's across the White Sox, the Angels, and Miami. So it's not even like great teams here. These are 3 of the worst, maybe 5-10 teams the last couple of years here. So when I'm thinking like, oh, who's going to take a shot? Well, would it be the Rockies? They just signed Orlando Arcietta for a shortstop. Maybe you get Anderson, just kind of platoon them and see which one gets you better value. Does Baltimore take a chance? Probably not. Their season's chalked anyways, but they've got, Gunnar there. So, I mean, he plays third, I think. Either way, Tim Anderson, his career is kind of derailed from, you think of 2020 to 2022. Heck, even 2019. 2019, he had a 4.2 WAR. You take that 4-year span, 2019, 20, 21, and 22, he had a 12.5 WAR, considering he has a negative 3.3 since. That is crazy. He had 374 games. He had 51 home runs, 318 batting average, 820 OPS, 163 RBIs. He was just fantastic. The 2 the 2 All-Stars, the Silver Slugger, top 7 in MVP voting in the COVID year. Just a player who's lost his way, and I would love for him to figure it back out, but you never know. And I think, honestly, I would love someone to sign Tim Anderson. I do like him a lot. But I think he might be past his date here, so we'll have to see if anybody takes a chance there. Moving on, we had some interesting pitching records happen this past week. The first one was on Monday with Texas. Jacob deGrom was making a start against Toronto, and the first time ever in Jacob deGrom's career he made a start where he did not record a single strikeout. I thought that was a fun little fact, a fun little stat to throw in here. DeGrom, one of the prolific strikeout pitchers in recent times, of course, with his injuries and his move to Texas. But those 2 years with the Mets, man, something special was happening there. The other pitching record here, and this one's a little bit more of a record, a little bit more important. Chris Sale, with the White Sox, with the Red Sox, now with the Braves, he became the fastest pitcher in MLB history to record 2,500 strikeouts. He beats Randy Johnson, who had that record, by 81 1/3 innings. So Chris Sale definitely on his way to potentially 3,000. He is one of the most prolific strikeout pitchers in our generation. A joy to watch him with the White Sox, a joy to watch him with the Red Sox. Last year was absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite Chris Sale years. Of course, that Cy Young winner, Triple Crown. I love Chris Sale. His career has been great, and this record kind of cements that as one of the top pitchers. So congrats to Sale there. And let's talk about the season so far. As we mentioned, it's a third of the season done here. And, people are making names for themselves. We got some teams who have showed out this season. When I think of, I could sit here and just name all the bright spots of the 2025 season, all of the dim and broken lights of the 2025 season. Like, there's been a lot that has happened in these 2 months, and there's still 4 months to go. We still have 2/3 of the season. We think Pete Crow Armstrong, what a season he's had. Guys like Jacob Wilson, who's fighting for Rookie of the Year. I believe the Cubs, the Tigers, 2 Central teams who, with there could be a chance here. One gets Kyle Tucker, one gets Gleyber Torres, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, these 2 teams are absolutely rolling. 2 of the top 5 teams in baseball, I think. Tigers, the 1-1s have finally kind of paid off a little bit. Casey Mize, before his injury, was pitching great. Spencer Torkelson is kind of being consistent and hitting some home runs. You think Texas and the season they needed to have to kind of bounce back from last year's atrocious season. Guys like Tyler Mahle, who's all of a sudden untouchable. People are struggling to score runs against him. Jacob deGrom's been back and has been pitching great. And there's so many other storylines and guys to go into. We mentioned Augustin Ramirez in the game of the week here. Some other Miami Marlins players who've just kind of showed up this season. But then you flip to the other side. You think Baltimore, who doesn't even have their 20th win yet. You think the Rockies, who don't even have their 10th win yet, and how they're on pace to break the White Sox record. You think of Devers and his position problems of not wanting to play first base, and how the Red Sox have slipped back to the 500 teams, back to below 500, and middling out here. They're 27-31 on a 5-game losing streak. Is that part of the reason? Is Devers not, playing first base, giving them, is it tying their hands really? The Marlins lead the division. The Giants, for the first time all season, are out of a playoff spot. They've lost 3 in a row, 4 of their last 6. They're still 6 games above 500. Where does Arizona fall into things here? How are the A's? The A's were doing so well, and they went on a 10-plus game losing streak, and now they're last, and it's just, in the division there. The season has gone a crazy direction here, and it gets us to the point of, okay, is it too late? Is it too late for Baltimore to turn their season around? Is it too late for the A's to come back because they were pretty much a playoff team at one point just for a day or two and then have fallen off? Is it too late for the Yankees? Can they still throw it away? Can a team like the Cubs lose out on the division? There's still 2/3 of the season. So no matter what, if you're a player that's been struggling offensively, defensively, whatever, if you're a team that hasn't been able to put it together yet, you could use this as a start of the season. Today is game 1 of the season, and you have every opportunity to turn things around. If you turn it around right now, you still have a clear chance to make a push, make a run, to change your season around, to become a great player, to potentially win a Rookie of the Year, to go for a Cy Young. There is still so much season left, but it needs to start soon, because if you stay middling out, if you stay losing out, it's going to be tough to turn a season around here. So when I think of the Reds, who are 28-29, the Braves 26-29, these are teams that could make it. 27-29 for Arizona, the teams that are just barely under 500. The Blue Jays just got to 500, 28-28. There's still time. It just needs to happen now. Have a strong start to June. Get hot entering the All-Star break, and anything can happen. But so far, 2025 has provided us a lot of great moments, and excited to see what else is in store. So let's get through with the rest of the episode here. Get going with our injury updates. The A's are losing Nick Kurtz on the 10-day IL, a strained hip flexor. Tigers losing Matt Vierling on the 10-day IL with shoulder inflammation. Joey Bart from the Pirates on the 7-day concussion IL. AJ Smith-Shawver on the 15-day IL with a strained elbow for the Braves. And then Ronel Blanco, who was on the 15-day IL, he will undergo elbow surgery and will miss the rest of the 2025 season. So Blanco is done for the year. That brings us to our outstanding performances from the week here. Adrian Hauser, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. Kevin Gausman, 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 6 Ks. Ryan Nelson, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 4 Ks. Jack Flaherty, 6 innings of work, 2 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 8 Ks. Ranger Suarez, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. Lance McCullers Jr., not so outstanding, but the fact that he was able to strike out 12 batters against the A's here, good stuff from him. He had 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, which is why it's not that outstanding, and a walk there with the 12 Ks. Had to give him a shout out there. Carlos Rodon, a great start against the Angels, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 10 strikeouts for him. Logan Evans, the Mariners rookie, 8 innings of work, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 4 Ks. Paul Skeens, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 Ks. Tyler Mahle, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. Matthew Boyd, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 8 Ks. Mackenzie Gore, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 8 Ks. And lastly, Chris Sale, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts to get him over that 2.5 K mark. Moving on here now, let's get to our stat leaderboard and talk about that really quickly here. A lot of things still similar. Judge still leading an average at 391. Still leads at hits in 81. Shohei, the lone home run hitter, the first to 20, the only at 20 home runs on the season. That means he's on pace for 60? RBIs, it's Seiya Suzuki, a huge jump. He had a huge week of driving in runs for the Cubs. He's now at 51. It's past Judge for the RBI total there. Shohei leads in runs at 59. Ozuna still in walks at 47. No more O'Neal Cruz is now back to Luis Robert with 21 stolen bases. He leads there. And of course, Judge leads in OPS, 1.227, just 0.002 difference. He had 1.229 last week, and now it's 227. So there you go. Wins, it is no longer Brandon Pfaadt at 7. It is Brandon Pfaadt, Hunter Brown, Max Fried, Robbie Ray, and Carlos Rodon at 7, a 5-way tie there. Max Fried still leading in ERA, still with the exact same one from last week, 1.29 there. Mackenzie Gore had a nice, he had 2 starts this week, so he got a big jump there in his strikeouts to 101. He's over the 100 mark, the first and only pitcher to do that so far. And then the saves, Andres Munoz and Robert Suarez, both with 18 saves, I believe. Let me double check that actually, because I thought it was 17, but it might have been 18. Either way, I know they're tied, and they're tied for 17. Andres Munoz from the Mariners, who still hasn't given up a run, by the way. 24 games, 0 ERA. Robert Suarez, both of them with 17 saves. They are tied and lead the league there. That gets us to our upcoming series. for the weekend here coming up. The A's are in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. White Sox at Oilers. So two teams here. I mean, Baltimore needs this sweep. Tigers at Royals. That's a fun one. Angels at Guardians. What's fun is that Mike Trout was activated today, so he will be back after missing nearly a month. Go Trout, go. Twins at Mariners should be a fun one as well. Rays at Astros. That's a 4-game series there. Cardinals at Rangers. Red Sox at Braves. Rockies at Mets. Giants at Marlins. Brewers at Phillies. Reds at Cubs, Pirates at Padres, Nationals at D-backs, and the series of the weekend, Yankees at Dodgers. The World Series rematch is sure to be great baseball for all to have. You got Yankees, Dodgers. I mean, what more could you really ask for there? This brings us to our playoff predictor here. Let's see if the season ended today. Who is taking it all? The Astros are in the 6 seed. The Mariners are in the 3 seed. Twins in the 5 seed. Guardians in the 4 seed. The Mariners beat the Astros. The Twins beat the Guardians. So our ALDS matchup. Mariners at Yankees. Twins at Tigers. The Yankees beat the Mariners. The Tigers beat the Twins. So our ALCS matchup, Yankees at Tigers. And it is the Yankees for the 3rd straight week in a row who are making the World Series. Can they win it this time? Cardinals at Dodgers in the NLCS. Yeah, the Dodgers are the 3 seed right now. The worst division winner team right now. Cardinals in the 6th, passing past the Giants. The Padres are the 5 seed. The Mets are the 4 seed. Cardinals upset the Dodgers. The Padres beat the Mets. Our NLDS matchups. The Cardinals and the Cubs. How fun would that be? Padres and Phillies. That's a little fun one too. The Cubs beat the Cardinals. The Padres upset the Phillies. So our NLCS matchup, Padres at the Cubs. That one is fun. Cubs beat the Padres. So we have a Cubs and Yankees World Series matchup. And it is your New York Yankees. That would be your 2025 World Series champions if the season ended today. And speaking of ending, this is where today's episode will end, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, so much for clicking on the video. I've appreciated the support I've received on the last few episodes, specifically on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for clicking in, even if it is just for a few seconds. But hey, if you're hearing this, that means you either skip to the end, which, you missed all the baseball news, or you actually sat through and listened to the whole episode, in which case I appreciate you even more. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy some baseball if your team is in town. And that's it for me. So thank you, buddy, so much. And I will see you on Monday.